And if I said to you, okay, let me give you the whole portrait of your life, and here you have little conscious chips like a checkerboard, and you put your conscious chips over the place where you want to be conscious. Now you're looking at how you pray. You put one unit of prayer over your childhood. I want to be conscious of that incident. And another one over this relationship. And another over this. And that's what you want consciousness about, isn't it? At the end of the day, that's exactly it. You really don't want it in the big picture. You want it in tiny tidbits. And I assure you, you'll want it over your past before you want it over your present time. So if you really were to pull out all stops and say, go for it, God, take whatever you need, I think that's a really rough prayer. If you want to know the truth. This one woman answered this. I love this answer. She says, I really want to be conscious, but here's the thing. I don't want to give up my art classes. I don't want to go back to work. My husband does that for me, and, it's not the best marriage, but it works financially. And, you know what? I could give up my Tuesday and Thursday mornings. Now, it sounds like I'm making this up. Do you want to know something? I'm not. And I can make up things. This isn't one of those. And I bring it up because of the absolute absurd and naivete with which this woman answered that question. She didn't even realize what she was exposing in that moment. And from that point of view, I give that innocent child in her a great deal of applause because Lord knows she was probably speaking for all of us, only we knew better than to admit it. But that was phenomenal to me. And, for me, sometimes it takes that level of absurd experience for me to recognize as a teacher that that's really how we are underneath the surface. So I talk about the truth of power and discipline. And what we're really talking about is, do we have the power to enter into the part of ourselves we really don't want to know about? The part of ourselves that prays opposite our conscious prayers. That puts the stops on it, that says, God, I want consciousness. And then the other part says, but not too fast. And I don't want it to cost me anything. And we don't realize, and this is something that's very curious to me, why we associate becoming conscious with so much pain. Why do we do that? Why do we associate becoming conscious with loss instead of gain? Why do we do that? I've never met someone who doesn't make that assumption. And even if they say, oh, I don't, it's their ego talking to me. It's the defensive ego part of the persona. I dismiss it to say, see how frightened you really are. I've never met anybody who doesn't pray with this sense of trembling in them before the God in front of them, saying, I trust you, but I really don't. If we really held this sense of trust, and this is for the process of self-examination, this is why we all need meditations and the practice, to go in and say, do I really trust this essence that I'm praying to? Do I really trust this force that I call God or the divine or Yahweh or whatever name you want to give this source? And if not, could you say, show me why I don't trust you? Put me into circumstances where I have to trust you. Wouldn't that be an extraordinary way to pray? But you see, even as I mention it, aren't we afraid of it? Aren't we afraid of it? Your fear cannot stop it. One student said to me, I just don't want to go down that road, Carolyn. I don't want to ask those questions. And I said, do you think by saying you don't, you can stop it? What do you think that is? The mantra of stop? That heaven is going to say, oh, okay, we'll respect your fears. Think about it. That's only going to send the fear tenfold, 10 times into your back door saying, hi there. You can't stop that sort of thing. So what is consciousness? If all we want is the reward of consciousness, we don't want the work of it. And we need to face that fact. We don't want the work, we want the reward. And we mourn about the lessons that we need to go through. Oh no, another person to forgive. Oh my. Oh God, another thing to change. Oh no, another cord to cut. But let's say we really were serious about this thing called consciousness. Let's just say. And we decided, I'm going to do this differently. I'm going to reverse my life. I'm going to go about backwards. I'm going to start praying like this. Give me someone to forgive because I have trouble with this one right here. Give me someone that's going to be hard to love so I can stretch my heart because I know that's coming. My heart's too small for this thing called the human experience. I need to know the prayers I'm afraid to say as well as the prayers I do say. I need to know the shadow side of my spirituality. I believe this is the route of that level of empowerment that brings us into ourselves, into that quiet place. You go through the back door. You go through the reverse door. And the meditations, the reverse door is contained in that. Because it's not enough to just say to you, I believe, it's not enough to just say to you, close your eyes and think positive thoughts. I need to show you why you're afraid of positive thoughts. So in the meditations that follow, I'm going to be directing you through a morning meditation that takes you into the preparation of your day, up the scale of your chakras, into every one of these power zones, so you can organize them through the day. So you could check out what you're thinking in every one of these, because you are actually 7 thinking systems simultaneously, routing your day. Then in the reverse, in the evening meditation, we're going to shut down. We're going to take a look at where you've invested your power that day, who's got it, what you've gained. We're going to do your evening banking. And then you're going to prepare to enter your night, the preparation for leaving your body. You leave your body every night. You enter into that sweet place of angels and dreams. It's right to prepare for that. And it's right to come into your body with consciousness. In a morning discipline, in a morning meditation, think of it correctly. You're preparing for the day. You are entering your body. Not just your physical body, you're entering the body of your life. It's a rich entry. And then you're preparing to leave your body. The evening is the exit to the nocturnal plane. It's rich to enter there with, I need answers to these prayers. Help me here. I'm putting this out. Give me dreams. Speak to me. I want a language. And here again, I want to address this in terms of power. It takes a discipline to develop your own power language with your guide. It takes a discipline. You say to your guide, we need symbols between us. We need symbolic language here. Why would that be so difficult to get in the first place? Here again, I refer to the issue of time and speed. Most people like their guidance in the form of time because their life changes more slowly. If you were absolutely able to speak angel fluently, and you ask for a prayer that says, should I quit my job? Yes. Would you be able to do that? Would you be able to do that? Could you act that fast? This is the question you have to ask yourself. Could you act that fast? If you could, yeah, you would get the answer that fast. That's what spiritual mastery is all about. That's why spiritual masters and great mystics could do that. They weren't afraid of the answers. That's the difference between us and them. They weren't afraid of the answers. They could handle any directive and any answer they got. That's the difference. And the journey is to become unafraid of that power and those answers. My intention is to take us into that part of ourselves. And every time you listen to these meditations, to make you that much more clear, that much more strong, that much more comfortable with the speed of change in your life.
This concludes part 1 of Spiritual Power, Spiritual Practice with Dr. Carolyn Myss. Our program continues with part 2, Guided Meditations for Daily Practice. Morning Meditation, Preparation for the Day.
We all know that every day is a new beginning. Our task is to learn the practice of entering our body and our day consciously, so that every new day can be that new beginning. Begin by centering, closing your eyes and taking a deep breath. Focus your attention on your entire day, from morning to evening. Review your plans for the day. Think about where you need to be and who you need to be with. Sense your comfort level. Do you feel stressful about this day, or do you feel comfortable? Do you feel prepared for the day's events? And most importantly, are you projecting expectations into how you want the day to unfold? Remind yourself that we lose power with expectations. We lose power with our fears. We all know that.